This episode is brought to you by the MJ family of companies. Whatever interests you in the cannabis community can be found at mj.com. Unique and original content updating you on the latest trends in marijuana legalization, businesses and executives that are disrupting the industry, along with recreational entertainment and the latest deals on the brands and products you love. Visit mj.com today. Welcome to the Pot Live Podcast. I'm your host, Lenny G, and I can't believe it. We've already broken through 100 episodes. We want to thank you, the listeners, thousands of you that have sent beautiful comments, beautiful notes to us. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoy it. This next year, we're going to bring you the thought leaders, entertainers, trailblazers, CEOs of all the cannabis companies you want to hear from. People that are inventing new products, people that are bringing this cannabis industry to the mainstream. We are going to offer you education, value, and entertainment. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. And we are back on the Pot Live Podcast. I'm your host, Lenny G, and today our special guest is Miss Kelsey Kennedy. She has been in the world of fitness and wellness for over 10 years, and now she is the founder of Blossom & Stone, a CBD brand that she's going to tell us all about. Kelsey, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so for everyone who does not know Kelsey Kennedy, and there must be like one or two people who don't know you, Kelsey, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into this industry. Give us a little insight into who you are.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I have been in the fitness and wellness industry for about 12 years now. Oh my goodness. What is time, right? And I'm located in Los Angeles and I've been there this whole time. I opened a fitness studio about almost 10 years ago and I was teaching before that. And then we decided to open our own. We still own it today. So I've been in like the female-based fitness and wellness industry for that long. And about, I'd say 5 years ago, I started developing some anxiety, which kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, looking back at it now, I can see where all of it came from. But at the time, I was, kind of blown away by this newfound anxiety. And I didn't really want to go the traditional pharmaceutical route. So I started doing some research, and a friend of mine actually at the same time was like, first they were like, have you tried cannabis? And as much as I wish I could be a fully functioning cannabis user, I'm not. So I was apprehensive at first. And then a friend of mine introduced me to CBD, and it really just was a game changer. It helped me so much when I really needed it. And I started looking around in my community and realizing that I wasn't the only person that I knew that was, struggling with anxiety. And so I wanted to create a product that didn't seem scary and that seemed like something that other women might be interested in trying. And so that's kind of where Blossom & Stone came from, I guess, if you would say.
Yeah, and you hit on anxiety. Anxiety is probably the number one topic that we receive questions about, whether through the podcast or on mj.com. I know you had an article everyone should check out. There's a CEO interview article with Kelsey on mj.com as well to get some more cool info on her and her brand. But anxiety is the biggest topic that people hit us up for, whether it's for cannabis or CBD. So if you can, kind of give everybody a look into like, what did it do for you? So if you have a panic attack, something serious like panic attacks, or you just have general anxiety, you get nervous in social situations, whatever it may be, how did it make you feel and how did it help you?
Yeah, of course. So a little bit of a backstory as well. I have and had ADD since I was a child, and I got diagnosed very early. So I think a lot of my anxiety actually stems from ADD, but it didn't manifest into, I think, what we all consider anxiety, what like anxiety looks like, until I was, in my early 30s. And for me, wasn't so much panic attacks. it would be like just a steady base level of anxiety in my body at all times. Like I'd go to bed and I would have a really hard time sleeping. Getting to sleep was really, really challenging for me. My mind would start racing. I'd go to bed with that anxiety and then I'd wake back up and it would be there when I woke up, and I would, I'd get through the day. I definitely had days where I was like, I'd have to take a day off of work, but it wasn't so much where I was, I never have been hospitalized or nothing that extreme, but just to live with that kind of like pressure in your chest was really challenging. And so with CBD, I hate using the phrase because it takes the edge off, but it really does. Like I feel with CBD, you can take it throughout the day. So if I am having a more stressful day than others, I can take more than one dose. And there's no real adverse side effects to taking a dose in the morning and a dose at night if I need to do it, a couple times during the day. But yeah, it just kind of alleviates a little bit of that constant like pressure.
I know exactly what you mean. My mom suffered from panic attacks and anxiety. It got passed down to me, not severe, but enough. And my daughter, teenage daughter, who's a little entrepreneur like you, or you're a big entrepreneur, she has issues with it too. Do you like taking the tincture? Do you like topicals? Do you like edibles? What do you like to use?
I am an equal opportunist. I will take it any way I can get it. No, I mean, Blossom and Stone is a tincture. So I sell what worked for me. So for me, I prefer a tincture. I put it in my coffee in the morning and I'll take it like at night under the tongue before bed. But I love a balm. I love a topical. I use the oil as well on like, I own a fitness studio. So there's a lot of times where I'm sore because I've taught a bunch of classes. So like, that's what I love about CBD is that it's not just one use. You can use it so many different ways. The only thing I don't vape very often. Yeah. If I vape, it would be like I would be doing like a THC blend to go to sleep.
Right. Exactly. Yep. So yeah, I like for sports, if I'm doing workout or athletic activity, I love to use topicals in the affected areas that might be sore. I do that basically every day, even for something that people don't think is strenuous like golf, but golf still, you're twisting and turning and swinging pretty hard. So you do get sore from that. It's perfect for that. Yeah.
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 It's the same
lower back. I even put it on my lower back. Feels great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, any athletes or we've been closed obviously due to COVID. So we're reopening on Monday, but pre-COVID, I would have a lot of clients who would be taking to complement like their running, right? Like they want to gain muscle and strength so that they can still, run a marathon or something like that. And I would say like, you should try CBD just because yes, you're also strengthening muscles to support those joints, but at the same time, like those muscles are also fatigued, right? So like, I just find CBD is the best when it comes to like a muscle rub. And it's also great too for women when they're going through their menstrual cycle, like it actually really helps with cramps as well.
So tell us a little bit where people can find you. Where is Blossom and Stone? Is it online? Is it an actual brick and mortar store? Tell us where they can find it and what type of products are you currently offering?
It's just online, no brick and mortar. And yeah, right now we currently just have the tincture. We started small. We've only been around we just had our year anniversary on the 20th. So we're still new and young, but we do have a couple products like coming out probably later this year. But right now, just the tincture. Yeah. And you can find
it blossomandstone.com.
Yep, blossomandstone.com, and it's at Blossom and Stone on Instagram as well.
Great. And as our listeners know, I'm a father of two female young entrepreneurs that are 20 and 16 years old, and they're doing their own thing in different industries. So tell everyone, as a female entrepreneur, have you hit any obstacles in this industry? Has it been smooth sailing? Has it been tough for you? Give us a little insight into that, please.
Oof. Yeah, it's been challenging. I'll say that. I mean, I own a brick and mortar, and that has its own challenges in and of itself. And that overhead construction permit, like all of those things. None of that applied when I was starting this business. But I guess the two challenges that I came up against were, of course, COVID.
Yeah.
That
Which
was
is even actually better timing going forward, because now everyone has anxiety, so they can all use your.
I mean, it's been a really, I mean, like I said, we launched a year ago. We launched on 4/20 last year with no idea that we would be still here. I mean, granted, now as we, record this, like things are opening up and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But last year was such an intense year, and it wasn't obviously what we anticipated or what we thought we were going to start a business in. Like the climate just, it was challenging for sure. I think also it is hard to sell. It is still very hard to sell CBD and to market it, and you've got so many restrictions because of the federal government. So it's been challenging to find a way to get the word out when you can't do paid promotions.
Yeah, I even see it from our platform. So whether it's the podcast itself, if it's talking about cannabis, or if it's too detailed an episode or a promo that we put up on Instagram, let's say, or even on mj.com, an article, they'll flag us and say we're trying to sell the product, and we're not even touching the product. We're literally a media platform, a content platform. We still get flagged. So I can imagine when you're actually selling the product, it's nearly impossible to utilize a lot of the traditional channels everyone else is using.
Yeah, it's been really challenging. I would be lying if I said it hasn't been frustrating. When we started, I did know that there were challenges, obviously, but I didn't realize how intense these challenges were in practice until obviously you go through it yourself, and you can read as many Facebook group messages about trying to open a bank account and trying to get your payment processing processed, and, trying to sell on Instagram and Facebook. You can read all of it, but until you actually go through it and you actually are like, oh, wow, I can't sell anything. And incredibly frustrating. We even, for last year, we're phasing it out now, but we did develop a mass chain because the CBD has rose quartz in it. So we made these mass chains with rose quartz to go along, and those were even flagged. And I was like, but that's not even a CBD product. Like that's totally separate. And they were still flagged.
Yep.
So it's been a wild ride for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So before we finish up, Kelsey, tell us something in the overall cannabis CBD industry, something that concerns you and something that excites you.
I think they go hand in hand. I think what concerns me and excites me is the awareness that is starting, I feel like, to happen with CBD. I think it excites me, obviously, because the more people learn about it and the more it becomes accessible, obviously, the more people will learn about the plant, the more research can be done on the plant, the more demand there will be for the industry. And hopefully the more, we'll get these restrictions removed, right? Because, the higher ups in the world will see that like, this is such a great business and a great industry. I think with anything that has, anything that gets popular, there's always going to be some bad apples. And, so we'll have to just be a little bit more careful. And, because we're in this limbo stage of regulation and testing and nothing's like fully open yet, I feel that there is the possibility for a lot of dupes and scammers to possibly come into the play. So
yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of BS products out there. Like you could, you go to a mini mart and a gas station and there's Joe's CBD sitting there, and that's a bunch of crap, but people buy that and then nothing happens, then it gives the whole industry a bad name. So we do need more regulation, testing and all that stuff. There's just not enough of a track record to make it
Absolutely.
fully mainstream, even though people like yourself and myself know the benefits of this plant, whether it's CBD, THC, whatever it may be that you like. But hopefully
Yep.
at the time of this recording, I think we have 36 medically legal states for cannabis and 18 recreational. I believe those are the numbers right
That
now.
sounds right.
Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, it looks like the new administration is a little more friendly towards cannabis. So hopefully that will fast track some of these things, especially like you mentioned, like the banking, even getting loans, having traditional banking payment processing. People don't realize what a huge obstacle it is for companies like yours, mine, or anybody in the industry just to do a normal course of business.
A transaction. I mean, no one understands that, for us to do a transaction, we had to go through a third party processing company who takes an extra cut. So that's all of these things, it just makes it really hard to do business effectively, honestly, and intentionally, right? Because
Yep.
you just are being hit with some new roadblock every single time you try to create a product. So that's why we have had to be so limited and gentle with like because it's all bootstrapped by me. So, every dollar that I'm putting in, I have to, hopefully I will get it all back. Right. But, I do this out of love and passion because right now it's so hard to make those dollars back. So I have to be really careful and say, like, is this a product that I feel like, I want to stand behind, but also will it be successful? Because we don't have that wiggle room right now because you're constantly being told you can't sell, you can't, you can't take a credit card,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Well, it's almost like who can just stay the course and hang on until everything is more mainstream and legalized. You know what I mean? Where then you can compete with some of the bigger brands or get acquired by one of them. And that's, I think, what everybody's aiming for, right?
I think so too. I think like I look at the brands who are super successful and I'm like, they got in early, God bless them, like good for them. And they had a backer. But yeah, I think us in this middle ground who we came in a couple of years ago, we are just kind of holding on. And that's what I keep telling myself is like, let's just see what happens. Give myself another year. I take it day by day, but yeah, I think we're turning a corner. So hopefully it will allow more small businesses to create great products because I think that's where the heart is the small business.
Yep. Well said. And I agree. Well, I think you're off to a great start. You have a cool and unique brand.
Thank
Kelsey
you.
Kennedy, founder of Blossom and Stone. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we will see everyone next time on the Pot Live podcast. Looking for the best deals on all of your favorite CBD products? Check out the #1 rated online shop at cbddeals.net to find dozens of brands offering amazing deals for your wellness needs.